I wanted to take a moment to share with you on the subject of life after death. This is a very, very important subject to look at. I can say in my personal life, it helped me to deal with loss. It also helped me to deal with the fear of death. So it's really fundamental, you know. Where do I start? So when I was 27 years old, I had a cousin of similar age. He was 27, who suddenly died. And we had grown up together. We went to school, to the same school together. So you can imagine. And that saying is true, that says when somebody dies, you don't all lose um, the same thing, do you know? Depending on how well you knew the person and how close you live with them, it hits you harder. Because I'd lost people in my life before, but it never hit me quite as such. Because imagine somebody you saw every day and then one day suddenly they're not there. And I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't imagine, and I had all these questions. Like, where is he now? And you have all those questions, unanswered questions, and I was in grief, and in this kind of grief, in a sense of what's the point of it all. But as I knew my cousin, to me he was my hero. Knowing he was a year ahead of me at school, went to boarding school, and he was revered. So I remember when I first went to high school in the first form, and that's when you get bullied a lot, but nobody messed with me because everyone feared my cousin, and everyone just this is Munya's cousin, you know, and nobody dared, you know, mess with me because they feared him. You know, he was popular at school, you know. In that way, I'll say. So, and then there are also things I can say I had. Some people could look at him and say he was a bad person, but to me, he was the best person, you know. So, but you have these questions, like, where is he gone now? Is he gone to heaven? Is he gone to hell? If there is life after death. And I had all of that, just questions. Where is he now? You know, he's not here, so where is he? And I was crying, and I remember one pastor prayed for me, one leader at church prayed for me, and they basically prayed for me this prayer that God would visit them before the moment before they died. God lives outside of time, right? And that God would give him the opportunity to give his life to him, and that for sure then you would go to heaven and not go to hell. So it was an odd prayer for me, but I took it. I even chuckled, I even laughed, you know. I was like, really? You know, like God go back in time and save me, you know? But yeah, but I remember that night just still not having peace of that uncertainty and not knowing, and where is he now? I went to bed, I went to sleep that night and I had a dream. Very real, very real. It was like so real. And then I saw him. So real, like physical, and I was like, whoa, you're right. And I ran up and I hugged him. And he was like, don't hold on to me too much, too tight. And as I was talking to him, excited to see him, we were both taken up, and we were put into cars. I used to play these games on my phone. I used to play racing games, where you drive these expensive cars. One probably I'll never own, I don't know. But I played these kind of games, and so it was like this. We put in these expensive cars and on this race course, and we started racing each other. And it was so crazy, and because it was like really like in the game, if you crash the car, it would reset you and put the car would rebuild itself, and you put back in the center of the road, and you go again that way. And I saw him just drive so smoothly, without crashing, and he just drive all the way around the course and finish the course. And I was yet here at the beginning, keep crashing the car and resetting, and I'm still somewhere in the beginning here, and I've seen him already go and finish the whole course and finish the race. And while I was in the dream, the scripture came to me. Where Paul is saying, I've finished my course, I've run a race, I've finished my course, and he just brought, and he just was like, wow, he just brought me so much comfort to know that even though his life seemed to be short, he had done and fulfilled everything God had called him to do. And now he's at peace, and now he's gone to be with God. As I saw him, he's okay. He was, probably in a better place than I am right now. So I shouldn't be sorry about it. I'm still here going through the pains of life, and that brought me so much hope. I remember that I had so much peace after that.
My friends like photo
and I'm saying,
they just like to just bring their heads in, their fingers there.
From that time on in my life, I never cried. The way I looked at death forever changed. The way I looked at death forever changed. And I want to also take what the Bible says, so that you don't base this on just, my dreams, but and I was thinking about the story of Lazarus. And who was Jesus' friend, and who had fallen sick and died before Jesus came. And the two sisters were really think, when Jesus came, saying, if you're here, you wouldn't have died. Yet we believe God can. And Jesus said to them, do you believe you'll rise again? And they're like, sure, in the last day you'll rise again. And Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. and 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 he said, to her, "You see great things if you believe." So Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she replied. "I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God who is come into the world." And even the other sister came as well, Mary. And that's when Jesus was really driven to tears. Uh, uh, and Jesus proceeds to say, "Show me where you laid him." And he tells them to move the stone from the tomb. And he calls him out of the grave, he says, "Lazarus, rise." And Jesus did this to demonstrate to them all. And he had been dead for 4 days. You can imagine. And Jesus did this to demonstrate that he is the resurrection and the life. And those who believe in him, even though they die, they'll live forever. And Jesus would go on himself to die on the cross, and after 3 days raise back to life and ascend into heaven. And this is the hope I want to share with you all, that putting your faith in Jesus is key. Believing, putting your whole trust in him is very important to have life eternal. And the same way, because Jesus said that he's going to come back. Says, "Let your hearts not be troubled. Believe in God and also believe in me. In my Father's house there are many rooms. If it was not so, I would not have said so. I'll go and prepare a place for you, and I'll come back and receive you to myself, so where I am you'll be with me." And so this is great news, that we never have to fear death. And Jesus died and rose again after 3 days and ascended into heaven. So you can better believe that Jesus is going to come back and raise us up and take us to heaven with him. Okay? But even now, when we die, before our body is raised, when we die, angels come and take our souls to heaven. I'm basing this off the story Jesus told of Lazarus and the rich man. And Lazarus was a poor man, but when he died, the angels took him to paradise. Before it was paradise, Abraham's bosom. If you want, that's Abraham's city, where he talks about how we sought a city whose builder and author is God. And so Lazarus was taken to Abraham's bosom, and Jesus promised to the man who died with him on the cross, in the neck, that today you'll be with me in paradise. So this is good news and hope. I wish you could see this, because it will dissolve any fear you ever have of death and any sense of loss when you know that somebody has gone to be with God. The second story I want to share is another experience I had of my aunt. It was my mother's sister, and my mother's sister, that is after 3 months after she died. And I wasn't too well acquainted with her, so the loss to me wasn't that much. That wasn't that much as much as to my mom. Now my mom, she has 7 sisters, and this was her first sister. She lost. So but after 3 months, my mom came to England for a visit, and so this is the first time I'm seeing her since she lost her sister, and they also gonna see her. She had come to the city. That day I had a dream, and I saw my aunt, and my aunt was showing me photos. I couldn't believe it either to see her, but it was like, and she started showing me photos, photos, and the old the one you had those photo albums, and she started showing me these pictures, printed pictures, but these pictures, they were like family pictures, a lot of people, but they were old pictures as well, so, and there were a lot of faces that I didn't know in the pictures. Some of the pictures I didn't identify anyone. Some of the pictures, maybe I could pick 1 or 2 people I knew, and she kept showing me all these pictures, and I'm looking at them and not too interested, I guess. Like, oh, okay. But the last picture she showed me, she actually, she pointed at this little boy in the picture. She said, "Who's this?" And it was me when I was a boy. I don't know, maybe 3 years old. And I was like, it's me. No, just the excitement. And that's when I woke up. And I just like, whoa, what a dream. I need to share this with my mom. I knew instantly that I need to share this with my mom, And I would proceed to go to my cousin's house with my mom and spend the night. And when I went there, my mom to the house, I was still in the kitchen with my nephew and nieces, and my mom sent for me to look at this photo album. I don't know why. She just sent one of my nieces to bring this photo album. She's like, "Oh, your mom wants you to see these pictures from home." And I'm like, okay. And I thought they were pictures of our family, of me when I was, growing up. And I started looking at the picture. I don't know how it's possible, because you can forget dreams. I remember the dream, but I forgot I had to tell my mom this dream, basically. I just forgot I had to tell her. So I take this photo album and I'm flipping the pages, and I'm seeing the pictures are all old pictures, all the faces family pictures. Most of them I don't recognize the people in the pictures, and I'm just flipping, like I'm just waiting for the part, maybe the pictures of me somewhere when I was growing up. I'm just flipping, and I'm not interested really. Like, why she send this for me to see these pictures? I don't know these people, and then I get to one picture where I saw myself as a little boy. My reaction was the same reaction I had in a dream, where I just got excited, like, that's me when I was a boy, that's me, oh, that's me. And that's where the dream came back to my mind. Like, oh my, I need to tell my mom the dream. I need to tell my mom that this is crazy. How is it possible that this is the dream I had and my mom is showing me the same pictures? It's the exact same picture. I don't know how. And sometimes it's like this because dreams are this way, that when a dream is fulfilled because of the feeling. The feeling you have is the same. So you dream of the future, when the dream is fulfilled, when you have the same feeling. It's like that's when everything just comes back. Oh my. And I told my mom, and I thought it should bring a comfort as well, because it's also confirmed. Like, how's that? If this wasn't a real experience I had, how is it possible? How is it possible that I dreamt of something that hasn't happened yet? How could I see this photo album before How could I see this photo album dream of it before I saw it in real life? It doesn't end. It cannot be, unless it is true. Unless I was really in touch with a sister who passed on. But I knew she's in a better place. This room was full of light. It was, And I told my mom, and she kind of looked at me with confusion, because her church, they believe when somebody dies, they don't know anything. And that was sad for me, because I just deduced this, like, yeah, she doesn't believe this, but I knew that her sister wanted me to comfort her in telling her. I feel that's the only reason I had the experience, because this is after 3 months she's passed. I never, and I know my mom was still grieving her, and her sister just wanted her to know that I'm alright, I'm okay, So I hope you're blessed, and cheers.